Imagine trading ocean breezes for desert winds, palm trees for neon lights, and still finding the warmth of Ohana thousands of miles from home. Welcome to Las Vegas, the unofficial, official ninth island. Today on Won't You Be My Neighbor, where we're going to discuss how real estate, community intersect to shape lives. We're discussing how Polynesians, particularly Native Hawaiians, began calling Vegas their second home. And to help us make this official, we've brought in probably my favorite guest to date. No offense, Phil. You can't talk about Polynesians without having Polynesians in the building. So today's cultural connector, podcast host, event promoter, community leader, owner, marketer, salesman extraordinaire. We got my man Big Body Cisco. What's going on,
man? How you guys doing? Good to see y'all.
Come on,
I was like, when you started doing it, I was like, is that guy walking in? That ain't me, right?
Where's that guy? Who is that guy?
When you start hearing all your titles, you're like, oh, damn, I really do a lot out here.
I was like, well, I'm somebody, right?
It's so funny.
It's like every so often I'll have, a fan of the show or a fan of the Instagram come up to me and be like, man, Brandon, you do this, you do this, you do this. I'm like, God damn, I am
that
awesome.
dude,
I didn't know it, man. So tell us a little bit about your journey, man. Where'd you start? Because you didn't start from Hawaii, right? But you got a lot of...
Yeah, I have ties. My mom's from Big Island, Hawaii. My dad's Samoan. So, we've always been part of the island culture. And, I was raised in Long Beach, and I was just telling you guys before the show started, before the gang life got a hold of us, Dad was like, oh, yeah, no, we're moving to the Bay Area. So before we got jumped into a gang, we told my dad, and he moved me and my siblings up to the Bay Area, and we've been there ever since.
One quick question, because who the hell could jump? If you're watching this and if you're listening to this, you're not watching it.
It's like, what? What did he just say?
Who could possibly jump you and what I assume to be brothers equally of size of you? Like, how big was this gang? Would it take 30 people?
Man, it's crazy because in LA, Polynesians are big people already. So I'm smaller of my brothers.
Oh my
God. And I'm 6'4", 6'5", and 6'7" in heels. But other than that, it depends on the polys back then. We're big people, but we're good hearted.
Yeah.
So a lot of you see football players and security guards. We look the part, but we're always all good guys because we're rooted in our culture, which is respect.
Yeah.
And that's something that we've always been raised in our household. And the gangs were a part of LA, and my dad wanted to get us away from that, so we moved to the Bay Area. And I say Bay Area is where I learned my hustle. Because Bay Area is like the independent mecca of California. So I was out there and I was just making my way doing sales. I was selling cell phones. I was selling Comcast cable and packages. So I was a salesman. I was always, because my mom was a salesman. My mom came from commercial flooring, and I always heard her on her sales calls. And I was like, she's like, I've been in customer service. Even when she would get dinners for free, just any complaints, I would listen to my mom. And listen to my mom, kind of have that verbiage I picked up quick. So I was talking my ways out of ass whoopings. My dad would have the belt. But wait, let's think about this. He was
That's sales, right? That's sales.
So
right
I'm selling myself not to get my ass whooped. So he was like, oh, you've been talking to your mom too much. So my dad was kind of old school. So kind of having that whole, combination of the two parents raising us, in San Francisco where it's really expensive. We got into the mentality of I've always seen my parents renting apartments, renting houses. So, when you're growing up, that's just the norm.
Right.
And then my mom bought her first house. And then I was like, cool, my mom bought her first house. It was really a house handed down from the family.
Yeah.
So, you really don't know that until you become an adult. But that was my vision of, owning and renting. Oh, in California, we're always going to rent. And so that mentality went into my sales career where I was like, I'm selling all this stuff for other companies. I'm selling stuff for Comcast. I'm selling stuff for AT&T, whatever these companies were. I'm making them the big money and I'm getting cut a check every 2 weeks. Yeah. So I finally said to myself, they flew me out to Orlando, Florida, and said, you're going to be a sales director for Comcast. And I said, I'm going to take the free trip, but on the free trip, I'm going to tell my guy, hey, I'm not going to take the position. He was like, you're tripping. He was like, dude, this is a 6-figure job. You're over here. I said, dude, I'm going to follow my dream of doing entertainment. I'm going to make my own radio station. All the stuff I was telling him, he didn't believe in. And we went back. I, denied the offer, and he said, you'll be back in a month. And I did Big Body Radio, and ever since, I haven't been back and worked a 9-to-5 job since. He got laid off the next year, came to one of my shows. He came to one of my shows and was like, you made the right decision. I was like, he was the one that told me not to do it.
So I want you to know the important part of that story. If you heard quickly, he still took the free flight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, people, take the free flight. He took the free flight. I was in Orlando. I went to all the Epcot and everything. I said, okay, let me get this free week. And then when I come back, I don't want to take the...
But I love the fact that he went for the dream. He went for, I'm going to do this because I want to do this. I don't want to do the other stuff. I want to do this. Which is huge.
It definitely wasn't easy. When you take a flyer on yourself, everyone, all the naysayers, was like, dude, you need a 9-to-5. You need to do so. What I did was kind of have my 9-to-5 fund my 5 to 9. And that was kind of like saying, let me kind of work these odd-end jobs, but kind of like make it be my main focus of what I wanted to do. So I haven't worked since that day, and I've had my own brand. Big Body Cisco came on Big Body Radio, and I was doing that, and I was, kind of getting the poly artists, and I was mixing them in with mainstream arts. Yeah. I'd have J Boog mix him with Miguel. And then people were like, oh, that's crazy. So I was just trying to get people to listen to our poly artists, and there was a genius way to do it and trying to say, how do I get them to listen? They're listening to mainstream radio, and everything from Drake and everything's on there. So let me grab a poly rapper, mix him in with Drake, and now they're like, oh, okay.
That'd be cool.
Now it's like mainstream radio, so that's where it came about.
So is that how you started your Feel Good Music concert series?
Yes.
Is your goal, your intention was to introduce people to poly artists in a way that was comfortable and familiar for them?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it wasn't even really for poly artists. It was really for my friends. It just happened to be poly. So what it was is like, they wanted to coin a term like this. Like, what are you? Are you a reggae station? You're a hip hop station? So me and my team was like, I actually love music that makes you feel good. So people will deny it to this day, but I coined the term feel good music a long time ago, and I'm seeing it pop up on mainstream radio, on, you hear it in songs, but feel good music is what I was trying to promote. Yeah. So I was like, any song, it could be a hip hop song, it could be a country song, any music that makes you feel good is what we would play here. So the home of feel good music came about.
That's crazy, because when I actually went to Hawaii for my first time last year. And I always try to listen to local radio stations. I don't, I don't play my own music in your thing. And that's the best way I would describe Hawaiian music. I haven't heard Polynesian music. I've only heard Hawaiian music, obviously. But like, feel good. Yeah. Right? I don't care if it's like country. I don't care if it's reggae. I don't care if it's hip hop. Everything they're talking about. Like, there's a song that it's called like Fineapple. Yeah. I think. Yep. Like, girl, you my Fineapple. I'm like, they're always rapping about something positive, something like uplifting. I love that.
And that's what it was, because, when people kind of decipher between what Jamaican reggae was and what island reggae was, Jamaican reggae, if you listen, is real depressing. So islanders were in the island listening to reggae that was depressing. And they were like, man, like Bob Marley songs, they were all like, about fighting, but it was like, the Islanders kind of took it, was like, let's make this into a positive. So what they did was they took the same vibe as reggae music in Jamaica and kind of put their own twist on it, and everything that you hear from island reggae is positive and it's kind of feel good music.
It's funny, Brandon, when we did the Shop with a Cop and we had Isaiah, and I was like, oh my God, he'd stop me in my tracks. I go, that guy is good. He ended up being on American Idol.
So Samoan Silk.
Samoan Silk.
So he's going to be on the podcast as well this week. But I've had like Ian Tongi on the show that was American Idol winner before. But you kind of like take to your own. And what I seen, there was like a void in Polynesian media. I was raised in California, so like I get the rolling eyes from people that were raised in the islands. Who's this kid from California thinking he's? So I just said, I'm gonna put us in position to. You see Ian Tongi. So I brought him. We go on tours with them, like J Boogs. These are people that are starting to get notoriety worldwide. So I started kind of saying, okay, well, there's no podcasting for that. There's no media for that. So I started to dwell in like getting our own, podcast companies, our own podcast shows. So I don't want to say I'm the forefather or I've been the pioneer, but in our demographic, I felt like I was the one that was going to turn the needle a little bit for us. Yeah,
that's awesome.
You saw something underrepresented, and you decided like, hey, I'll be the representation for that, right? And that's a lot of what we do around here, is that people have this idea that like, you see houses everywhere on the internet, but how many people are willing to sit there and teach people, educate people, right? There was a huge gap there. Like, we're not rocket science over here, right? No. We're not breaking the wheel.
It's pretty easy.
We just went on social media and we were like, yo, people have all these avenues to teach people crypto and AI, but nobody's teaching people the basics of like real estate, right? So when you started your Western Conference podcast, how would you say that's impacted the Polynesian culture around you? The people that know, the people that even back, on the island.
It's been huge because a lot of artists that were on the show, they were friends of mine just from being in the industry. So no one had accessibility to these artists. It was like, how's Cisco sitting down with a Fiji? How is sitting down with a J Boog? So these are just my guys. Okay. Hey guys, when you're in town, I'm doing this podcast. All right, let's do it. But I was telling them, you're telling your story from your mouth to their ears. They're not making an assumption about what they think of you or what your path was. So it was like how you started, where you're at, where you're going. That's always my three things to a guest that comes on my show. And hearing the stories from our artists, and like, damn, they went through it.
Yeah.
So hearing that, and then it resonates with the public to say, oh, now it makes sense why their music sounds like this. Now it makes sense why they dress and act like this. So
and they like them more.
Yeah, and they bridge the gap. Right? If they didn't know who they were, they could watch the podcast and know who they were.
What a great feedback loop for you, though, right?
Oh,
because you're introducing the audience to these people that are your friends, right? These people are huge. in the music world, these people are huge. So now the feedback loop is the bigger they get, they come on your show.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, oh, he's getting this big artist. Well, now other big artists want to jump on, right?
Because they've seen them on there.
Because they've seen them on there.
And artists that weren't my friends that were big artists, they were like, oh, I seen J Boog on there. I seen Common Kings on there. Hey, Cisco, let me come on your show. And I'm like, oh, okay. Not even thinking of it because I didn't force feed. Like saying, you have to be on my show. It was kind of like the proof was in the pudding. You see it on the Western Comics podcast. It was making its rounds through social media, and it kind of got back to the management. It was like, hey, we need to go do Cisco's podcast because he's in that demographic, and he kind of has a stronghold on our demographic, and that's how it all came about.
Now, San Francisco has its own Polynesian community, right? But
huge.
How did that differ from when you moved to Las Vegas?
Oh,
and
man.
You're driving down the 15, and you see a billboard talking about the Common Kings performing on the Strip for Memorial Day weekend, for 4th of July weekend, right? Did it blow your mind? Did you know how big Polynesian culture and music was out here?
Well, it's a funny story. So when I decided to move to Vegas, like it was night and day. California and Las Vegas. I always been over here, did shows, never seen myself moving out here. And I was like, oh, we're always going to be big to do shows there, but my friends were out here and they're like, oh, we live out here. So when I moved out here in 2020, it was kind of like, okay, I want to be on a bill. So I made a goal sheet. I need to be on a billboard was one of them.
Okay.
And I got with the Palms and they said, hey, we want to do this, poly pool party. I was like, cool, this is my thing and I'm all about marketing, but I need to be on the billboards everywhere that Palms runs. And I got on there and I wrote and I was like, okay, now I made it. My mom and dad was in town and I rode my dad by and he was like, hey, is that you? And then kind of seeing full circle how it was like, he was like, man, you're on a billboard, but it wasn't just me. It was like the J Boogs and the Common Kings. And I was like, damn, this is something big. I didn't know about the Ninth Island aspect yet. So until I moved here, I was like, okay, cool, I could do a few things here. Because I was like, look, I do all my stuff from California. I go to Vegas for like special shows, but how can I do something if I live there, all the time? Went here, moved here, went to an apartment. I went to the Smiths. I'm going to Smith's. I see this guy with an Ia Lava Lava. That's like the wraps that you guys see him. Flip-flops. Okay, that's just one. When it came 30, 20, and I'm like, hold up, where the hell am I? I'm thinking I'm in the islands.
Right.
So somebody, and then I see this old lady with a gun on her side. I'm like, hold up. Am I in the Wild West? It's, oh, it's open carry. So, as a Californian, you have to, because you're usually hiding your guns. So I came in and this guy said, oh no, this is the Ninth Island. So we start talking like, it's crazy. When you talk to a guy from Hawaii and they start breaking out in their pidgin, you start talking pidgin. Oh, where are you from? So like my mom's the best at it. So when they started telling me this is the Ninth Island, I didn't really know what he meant. The more events I was going to, we did our first show at the Grand downtown, the Grand Hotel at the pool. We did Maoli, and this is before Maoli blew up. We put the tickets on sale and they sold out in 20 minutes. And I was like, hold up. Why? How did this sell out so fast? Bro, there's a huge Polynesian demographic out here. I'm like, all right, this is a fluke. We do a festival, thing sells out. I'm like, hold on. We're downtown Las Vegas Event Center. We do Holo Holo and all this stuff like that too. So I was like, okay, this could be home. And then, but I'm still in this, I'm renting an apartment. So I'm in this mindset, okay, good. And everyone's, oh, you should buy a house. I'm like, because I'm thinking prices, California. I'm not going to buy a house. I'm just going to rent all my life. Then I run into Brandon's videos. I was just running to see what the best steakhouse was, what the best food was, because I was dialed in.
Yeah.
So I was doing Western Comics podcast. Austin was saying, oh, Brandon from Vegas does his stuff here. I got to meet him. So I'm a huge fan at that time. But then I started dwelling into his realtor stuff. Then I was like, okay, he's talking to me. Because he was talking shit. I was like, hold on, he might be talking to me. He's like, oh, you renters out there.
Some shit,
so when he was talking, I was like, man, he's talking it, but it's resonating with me because exactly what he's saying is falling to you renters out there are going to rent till you die. And that stuck with me. And I was like, man, I went to a few funerals and I'm sitting at the funeral, I wonder if he rented. I'm going to caskets like, hey, I hope you owned your, like, that kind of messed me up. And then when I was like, okay, my business is being successful, I'm in position to kind of like, okay, maybe I never had the conversation I can get in the house.
Yeah.
It was always been like, rent an apartment, get in a nice apartment, luxury apartment. And it was never the mindset until I started watching Brandon's videos and it was like, okay, we could do that.
Yeah.
Can you, because we're going to clip this.
Yeah.
We're going to clip this right here, right? What is it about luxury apartments that sells people from California so viciously? Why is it such an effective marketing tool?
Because it's verbiage. When I'm in California, I'm in a shitty apartment. If I come out here and I could be in a luxury apartment, just putting the luxury on it or elevated living, like it's all on marketing. So it got me right away. They were like, oh, come here. I won't bust you out where I live now. But when I said luxury living, I was like, ooh, I want to live luxury. So the mindset of people in California is anything luxury, high class, those words got me. And I was like, I'm going to live there.
Better than California.
Oh, yeah. Then they show you the pool. I'm like, I'm sold.
Right.
This is a luxury pool.
How many times you been to that pool?
twice because I thought you would always be there. Yeah. Then I didn't know there's 120 degrees and I'm like bacon boiling in this thing and I'm sitting in there like a damn pig. So I was like, okay, yeah, the pool's not where it's at. No, in Vegas, you got to go from AC to AC. That's the ticket.
Yeah.
And so the pool is just it kind of hook, line, and sinker you right there because, oh, that's a beautiful pool. Then I'm like, no one's going to be in the boiling water in 120 degrees. When I moved out here, I drove a U-Haul truck, me and my assistant, and we're driving up and the AC goes out. It's 115 degrees. I pull up to the thing. I'm about to turn around. I was like, fuck this place. I'm going back to Cali. But that can really make you, the heat out here is disrespectful. And when you're a Californian and you're pulling in a U-Haul and you're sweating profusely and you got to unload this U-Haul and then you're looking at the top like, is this sun going to let up? And I was like, it'll go down at night. Goes down. It's 110 at night. It's 110 at night. Right? I said, hold up.
Well, your mistake was you moved in the summer.
Yes.
Moved in summer. That's not good.
Me being who I am. I was just moving
Everybody
in the summer.
moves
That's
in
the
the
nicest
summer,
time.
right? Yeah.
But then I'm like, you get all seasons here. I'm sitting here in the summer. A winter hits. And it's like a tsunami outside. I'm like, what's going on here? So unless you get used to like the weather changes, like it could have been abruptly too. Yeah. Like it was a thunderstorm and then 100 degrees. I'm like, what just happened here, guys? But just going back to what you were saying, the luxury aspect of having someone from California come in and say, I want to live in a luxury apartment. Now I already told myself and convinced myself I'm going to live there until I can find a house, which I thought would be never.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that luxury title, we talked about this a little bit before the show. That luxury title convinces you that this is the best you can do, right? It's like a psychological warfare where you're like, what do I need to struggle for? I'm already in luxury. Yeah. I'm at the top of the top. It don't get better than this, right? And then you, like I said, that's why I use that phrase, you're going to die a renter. Yeah. And it's not, I'm not trying to, I call it trumping, where I'm just trying to say the most extreme thing. I say it for a reason because it takes that emotional trick. Like you said, you're at somebody's funeral. And now your first thought is, oh my God, did they die in their luxury apartment?
Exactly.
Like, holy shit, right?
I never thought of it that way.
You have to put a finite time span on things for people to recognize, like, hey, right now you got to get it started, right? So when you reached out to me and we finally spoke, what was the first thing that I said to you?
You said, what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
And you said, well, I got to do this. I've got to get, and again, and this is not to single him out, right? Everybody who reaches out to me says the same thing. Oh, I got to get this together. I got to get this together. I get this together. I said, why are you doing it alone? Why don't you let Bill help you for free?
Yeah.
And it's like this light bulb of like, wait, there's people out there who will help me. It's like, yeah, bro, Bill, please tell them we don't get paid
until you buy a house.
Until you buy a house.
Well, that's what helped me too, because I think you resonated with me. And when I talk to realtors all the time, it wasn't like I always say, you see somebody that's kind of like you could kick it with, and when they're talking like stuff that you're listening to, that's what kind of resonated with you. Yeah. Like when I talk to other realtors, it was still intimidating to kind of say, oh, I don't got all that in order yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, all you need is this, and that. I'm like, okay, I'll never get that, because that's the mentality we have.
But I think a lot of times the realtor community in general comes off as salesy. Yeah. It's like, I'm trying to do this. Brandon, I can tell you, I've worked with thousands of realtors. He is authentic.
Yeah.
He cares. He cares about people and what they're doing.
Y'all can't see it. I'm so authentic. There's gym shorts underneath this table. But the camera stops right about here.
Yeah. He may yell at you,
from the top
but
down,
he cares.
It's always from the top down. But no, I think, and it's something I noticed when I came into the game.
Yeah.
I said, look, Zillow exists. You don't need me to look at houses. You can go pop up on Zillow. And nowadays, there's so many videos. You can see the house. What you need is someone who's willing to be your friend and get you from point A to point B without being miserable to hang out with, right? When we're buying houses together, we're looking at houses daily. We're spending hours and hours. We're spending at least a good month together.
Yeah.
You got to be able to stand me. You got to be able to have a meal with me.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. You got to break bread.
You got to break bread. And funny enough, that's where like the food content came from. Because to me, it was like, okay, look, if I can sit down and have a meal with you and talk about real estate, it'll be easier to get you from point A to point B.
Absolutely.
Then it turns out people much rather look at food than look at houses. I'll tell you this. I've never told this on camera. There was a stretch when TikTok first started popping off, and before I started, getting my system in place, people were hitting me up just for the lunches.
Yeah.
So they would be like, oh, Brandon, let's go look at houses. And we'd look at houses all day. They'd be like, oh, where are we going to go to lunch?
Yeah.
We go to lunch, and then I would never hear from them again.
Yeah. Like, they just wanted the lunch.
They just wanted the free lunch.
And the free trip. Always take the free trip.
And that's when I had to start being like, okay, listen, I need to filter them through a system to make sure they're serious, right? So you sit down, you're like, okay, I'm going to get started, I'm going to get going and everything, right? And then you realize, okay, Vegas is a place that's comfortable for Polynesians and all that stuff. when you thought about, okay, where would I want to live in Vegas? What place popped up? Is it somewhere that you want to live close to other Polynesians?
Well, it wasn't really so much the Poly. It was kind of like I'm like, luxury had me already.
Okay.
So I noticed that, in my opinion, the South is the luxury part of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I've been to a lot of places in the North. Some places are nice, but there's some places that ain't nice. That you make a wrong turn and you're like, okay, what am I in the hood
Where am
again?
I?
So, and like when I had friends that were out here and I would go visit them in the North, and I knew him from San Francisco, I was like, dude, you went from a hood to another hood. The whole process is supposed to go better yourself. So that was kind of say, okay, they're in the hood in North, and this is there. So people are at Centennial Hills. I was kind of getting my bearings under me of where was where and what was what. Henderson kind of stuck out to me. Southern Highlands, I had a few friends I lived out here. Nice houses, good communities. But I was like, oh, the schools are shit. It's like, okay, well, my kids are all grown, so I don't really got to worry about that. So it was really like worth the quality of where I wanted to live. Henderson, Seven Hills, this side, Durango, like that was my benchmark. Summerlin was like the farthest I would go. And then I was like, okay, so now who I'm going to talk to get to that point? And that's where we were at when I started watching Brandon's videos. I was like, okay, I almost got my stuff in order. He's like, dude, what are you waiting for? Come get with me. And I was like, okay. And then this came about, and I was like, this will be my time to kind of say, guys, this is why, because I needed a tax guy that was ready to go to jail. I needed a realtor that was going to say, hey, this guy might need to be arrested. So you always want to take those risks because those are the uncomfortable questions.
Yeah.
And you really couldn't tell it to a realtor you didn't know. So the more I watched Brandon, I was like, the more I could relate with him. I was like, I could tell B anything. You know what I mean? Like, hey, bro, I'm going to go sell this in hypothetical.
Hypothetically speaking.
Let's put that disclaimer right here. But with that mentality to kind of say, okay, now that I'm, about to open a business here, what was going to be my next step to kind of say to get things in order? And when I said, and I typed it in the Instagram post, bro, let me get things in order. B was doing his thing. He looked at it, he was like, hell no. This is what I'm talking about. And singled it out. I was like, bro, you don't have to get things in order. And then I was like, you talking to me? But it was exactly that.
To be fair, if I had known he was this large in person, I probably would have been. Excuse me, Mr. Cisco, sir. Let me talk to you off camera really quickly.
But that was the thing for me, was like, he's right. Like, I need to get with her. Like, I have family members that are in the business, and I don't want it to be family because you don't want your family to know all your secrets. But then you got to get with somebody you're comfortable with to kind of say, these are my finances, and ain't what I probably would think it is. This is what I've been on my own. I left my last job was Comcast. That was 15, 20 years ago. But now I'm in the independent, for myself. So
a lot of it is fear. I see fear.
Absolutely.
Fear of just like, oh my God, they're going to judge me. They're going to say something.
Yep.
Like I don't have everything exactly the way it should be.
And I'll tell you this right now, with you guys dealing with the Polynesian,
all that kind of stuff.
The Polynesians and Hawaiians were real prideful. So we don't want to let you guys know that we probably might be poor. We don't want to let you guys know as a realtor, we probably can't afford what we're looking at. And that's, that's what Zillow has this false pretense for us. It's like, we see all these homes like, look within your means. And I found myself looking at $2-3 million homes. I'm over there because Phil Ivey, my friend is with Phil Ivey. We went to his house, and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to live here. They're like, oh no, they don't work like that. So that's why when I kind of seen what Brandon was showing, I was like, oh, I could live there. Then I seen the next gen house. Oh, that's what I want.
You know what we call that Zillow shit around here? We call that millennial masturbation. Right? when you turn 37, 36, 35, you stop looking at porn stars and you start looking at houses on Zillow. You're like, oh shit,
we could do this barbecue.
We could do oh my God. It's got remodeled floors.
Oh man. You start daydreaming on a whole nother level. Like, these Zillows really had me fooled. Because I'm over there thinking, I could afford this. And then it tells you what the monthly is. I could do that. Until you sit there and say what your finances are, that's where you come.
Bill, I've noticed something, man.
Yeah.
He sneaks really cool shit into just everyday conversation. How you know Phil Ivey? What the fuck?
My cousin's his personal security guard. They've been for the last 15, 20 years.
There we go.
So, yeah.
You know what? We was talking earlier about Tahiti and people saying like, I didn't want to say the oddly racist thing. I'd be like, his security guard.
Yeah.
Look, I played football and did security my whole life in Vegas, right? Those are I grew up playing football. I did security my whole life. I've been called oos more than anything in my entire life, right? Especially when I have, when I was in better shape.
Yeah.
They be like, "Oh, you're Polynesian for sure, right?" I'm like, "No, but you know what?
Thank you.
At this point,
Honorary.
I'll take that as
yeah.
compliment.
I'm over 6 feet. I'm over 250.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, let's just go.
And
with
those
it.
are the prereqs. If you ain't over that,
no,
you're Filipino. No,
Bro.
my bad. Hey, I got 2 Filipino baby mamas, so I can talk that. I can talk so. I got a lot of baby mamas.
Hey, Rob in the other room is Filipino.
I know. Here he comes. Rob's going to be like,
bro,
what?
I know 12-year-old Samoan boys bigger than Rob, bro.
My grandson alone is bigger than Rob. And he came out the womb this size.
I remember the first time I ran up, and that's way off topic, but whatever. I finally got Polynesians in the room. I remember the first time I played football against another Polynesian kid, right? And I was big. You know, I was like, at my size, they used to call me Bruiser because I was so big. I could just, you know. I remember the first time I ran into a Polynesian D tackle, and he just, I said, I said, oh my God. I feel like a little boy. He wasn't even breathing hard. He was just like, move out the way.
Oh man. and we're getting bigger. Like my grandkids and my sons, like we're watching all this stuff on social media. Like they're doing real running straights where they're just running into each other. It's like it's brute strength, but we're like the nicest people. Unless you know us, we're like the nicest people.
Yeah.
Because we were raised with respect. And that's how we'll always kind of be raised.
That's awesome.
That's the crazy thing. I've been to so many Polynesian parties and never a fight has broken out. But I've worked security and seen I've worked security and seen the opposite. I said, how do you guys make this transition?
Yeah.
You are so nice and friendly, but then like when it's go time, it's like it's go time,
it's a switch.
right?
Yeah. When the
It's a
switch is,
switch.
and then when the family parties, you're in front of elders. Like you can't really act an ass in front of elders. But when you're not in front of them at a club, you can act however you want. So I guess it goes from there.
Is your grandmother the boss of the family?
Yes, and she was the boss because what she said always went. What she said was law. And you know when you had the family dinners and everything, you know, and then when they pass, they pass it down to like my mom,
right?
And my mom would kind of take over that thing, but they put their twist on it. Like when you come from the islands and you kind of go to California, now you're putting the California twist on it.
Yeah.
So you still have the food. Which shout out everybody who has gout and all that, but besides that, you're able to enjoy a meal with the family.
Bro, Hawaii, I put on 13 pounds. I was in Hawaii for a week. Bro, every morning it's macadamia pancakes with the sauce and the banana. I'm like,
the loco mocos and all that too. Yeah.
I said, this is breakfast? Goddamn. Bro.
People always ask why we're so big. I was like, because we love mayonnaise and and we love food. So that's a Samoan steroid.
And the food, Samoan steroids, yeah. Them pancakes, Samoan steroids, bro. And no portion size came under like 2 pounds.
No.
This is the kids' breakfast. I ordered the kids' meal.
Yeah, the kid was like, wait, that's a kid's meal? So the hack is go to a Polynesian restaurant and order from the kids' meal because it's the same portions as an adult meal.
As an adult meal.
Yeah.
It's real shit. Okay, so funny stuff. So from historical context,
Yes.
right? Because I've always been my whole life, right? When you're 7, 8 years old, you don't realize how many Polynesians are around you. To me, it's just, that's what I grew up with. It's just normal,
Exactly.
right? But as I started to get older, I wanted to know, like, why is it the ninth island? What happened?
Yeah.
So there's 2 things, and one of them's kind of obvious. The other one's a little under the radar. So obvious, there's like the Mormon connection, right?
Yeah.
Between Utah, Vegas, Hawaii. That's why if you look at BYU's football team, it might as well be Hawaii's.
Utah, the Utes. BYU.
BYU's football team might as well be Hawaii's second football team, because like, right? And then there's an undercover one. So there's a hotel called the California Hotel.
Yeah. Oh man, oxtail soup.
Oxtail. Oh, come on, bro. Already know. So in the 70s, the California Hotel realized that there was a few Hawaiians moving here. So they started doing a campaign targeted specifically at Hawaiians, where they would offer cheaper flights coming to Air Hawaii, and they started opening up, as you know, more Hawaiian-themed food. And that is what started pulling Hawaiian people to the Strip. And then when they got here, they were like, well, shit, this is nice.
It's pretty good. I kind of like this.
The California Hotel, that hotel that we drive by some Fremont, nobody knows, that is such a huge mover.
That place is always full of polys. Any weekend, any weekday, that's where everybody goes parties too on the weekend because they're all going for the oxtail soup. But like that's where everyone meets up at, and that's just got the hangout spot.
We just put a lot of Polynesians on game. If you're watching this, bro, the California Hotel, man.
Everyone's like, oh, let me go
take that. So now, that's the fun side of what brought people to Hawaii. Now, here's the part that honestly makes me a little sad. It's the economic factors, right? We were in Hawaii, my first time. I'm loving it. We're on, I had some locals tell me where to go. So we're on some beach with just locals there.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. My wife turns around. There's this house that its backyard gate literally walks right to the ocean. And she's like, oh my God, I wonder how much that is. So, being a realtor, I just hop on, find the address, The house was maybe 1,100 square feet, bro. It was a box.
Yeah.
$5.8 million.
Yeah. Beachfront.
$5.8 million.
Oh my God.
So as of 2024, the average home price in Oahu is over $1 million. Average. So like if you're looking for a starter home,
average. That's a starter.
it's $1 million, right? Meanwhile, in Las Vegas, we're hovering at like 425,000, right? And that $1 million starter home in Oahu starts at under 1,200 square feet.
Under,
right?
yeah.
Which is why, and again, I saw so many cars in the park in houses, and I was like, "Oh, are they having a party?" And they were like, "No. There's multiple families that live in the house.
You got like 4 different families in one house.
In one house. Yeah. That's the only way, right? And like you said, your mom had gotten a house passed down, right, from generation. You can't let that go because
you have to leave it in the family because they're not going to know what ownership is until they get this house that was passed down to them.
Right. And that's why we come full circle. That's why I say you're going to die a renter, right? Because imagine if that house had never been passed down, right? Imagine how many families would never be able to stay in Hawaii because how could you possibly buy a $5.8 million house? Yeah. How could you ever afford that?
That's why the mindset is what it is today because we're like, oh, okay, that's 5.
That's just what it is.
Well, we will never afford that. And you're already built and brainwashed into that whole kind of like mindset. So when you move to places like Las Vegas, it took me kind of seeing the videos that Brandon was putting and seeing what the market was. And people that moved here 20 years ago, I'm like, why didn't you guys buy a house 20 years ago? Because now that you have the resources we have, social media has kind of made it easier where you resonate with the right things. And I think what resonated was I see everybody, there's a bunch of realtor videos that you see on TikTok, on social media, but it's like, okay, what's the price? The hell with give me the drone shots, what's the price? And you were putting into layman's terms, as I put it, as it was relatable with the Ninth Island, with somebody that's kind of saying, do I want to do it? And what he was saying was something that I could talk to. And that was kind of like the whole, maybe I can own a house out here. And that's where we're at today.
Yeah. So y'all quit messaging me telling me that I'm bullying you and talking shit, okay? If Cisco, if this man ain't bothered by it, y'all need to shut the fuck up.
It's the way you take it. I think it's the way you take it. I didn't take it and being disrespectful. He was trying to get a message across.
Yeah.
And I think the way he was doing it, they weren't going to see it. If he was like, hey guys, come and do this. They kind of needed hey motherfucker, you're going to die a renter.
You're going to die a renter.
You're like a dad, right? You're just telling them what you believe.
When you first moved out here, your luxury apartment, are you comfortable telling people what it costs?
Absolutely.
What was your first year in luxury?
When I first in the luxury, it was $1,100 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, and I'm like, cool, because I was paying $2,800 in San Francisco for a broom closet. Yeah. So when I came out here, I was like, oh, I'm telling my friends, I got a luxury apartment, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, $1,100, and then it started going up. I was okay, 13's not bad. Right now, I'm in the same apartment that since I moved out here, it's been almost 5 years. It's up to $1,800, and I'm just kind of seeing where it's at from 11 to 1,800.
You ready? Okay, Bill's a nerd.
Yeah.
Bill's a nerd. He don't like to expose this, but Bill's a math nerd, okay? So your apartment got $700 more expensive, but it didn't change, right?
No.
You didn't get bigger? They didn't fix nothing, right?
At all.
Bill.
I need the washer and dryer fixed, by the way.
If you're listening right now. Bill, if my mortgage, right, if I'm looking for houses and I'm willing to pay $700 more on a mortgage, how much better does my house get?
It's amazing how much that can buy you. I mean, certainly $1,700 is not going to buy you a lot right now.
No, what I mean
but what I'm saying is $700 in terms of purchase power is huge. I mean, it's probably $200,000+ in home.
Think about that.
That's crazy.
So in the real estate world, when you tell us that your mortgage goes up $700, we're like, oh, you went from a $500,000 house to a $700,000 house.
Yeah. Because now you're upgrading.
But
when you're doing that in an apartment, you're like, we need the washer and dryer fixed.
It's the same shit. And the worst part is, and this is the one thing that, especially when I talk to people from Hawaii, I say, your rent's never going to go down. Right? It's only going to go up. Maybe not next year, maybe not the year after, but eventually it's going to go up, right? And you have to have an exit strategy. Here's something that blew my mind. And again, thank God for ChatGPT because it allows me to filter a lot of research, right? The average resident of Hawaii spends 43% of their income on rent. On rent, not ownership, on just rent. So damn near half of what they make goes to rent, and they already have the highest cost of living.
Oh man,
right? Milk is like $11-12.
Eggs, everything's up out there.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's why it's funny. I don't take offense to anybody, but this is the reason why I think Polynesian people are my favorite people to work with.
Yeah.
Because a lot of mainland Americans, I show them beautiful homes at like 400,000. Oh, that's what am I? What is this? It's not remodeled at all. When I take Polynesians out and I show them homes, they're like, I can get this for 400,000.
Oh man, and we're grateful. We're grateful because we see the bigger picture. It's like, man, I can fit 4 more families in here. Yeah. Cool. This side of that side, this side of that side. But because we always go to look at homes, and the backyards are the biggest sell for us. If we can host family gatherings in the backyard,
that's
the house
what you
can be
want to
small.
do. Yeah, it's a
but
gathering.
But the backyard is big. It's a gathering because Polynesians always love to entertain the families, and they're like, but they also want to have big barbecues. But that was what I noticed on Brandon's selling point when he was going to his house. Hey, look, you could have your whole family here in the backyard. I was like, oh, he's right, and that's what was the hook for us.
What I look at, Brandon, is there's a lot of people that are looking at mortgage payment. Mortgage payment is like the pain point. Oh my God, how am I going to make that payment? Yeah. And so a lot of people right now are really going to the homes, the brand new homes. And I call them shrink wrap. They're just, everything is just like packed in there. The rooms are smaller. There's no backyard. But man, I think there's also a big missed opportunity for people to look at older homes. Yeah. Homes that are maybe built in the 1980s, 1970s. Yeah. Taxes are super low. You get 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 square foot lot. Yeah. You can do a lot. You can have a lot of family gatherings on those.
There, yeah.
You know? What you said about them searching for backyards is so true. It's so true. It's like, and we're not allowed to steer anybody in any direction. Yeah. But whenever I get a new client from Hawaii, I'm always like, "You want a big backyard? How'd you know?" Like, you want a pool and a big backyard, right? I think yes, you got, because like they know the second. And here, if you're from Hawaii, the second you move to Vegas, I'm just telling you right now, everyone's going to visit you. Yeah. Just heads up.
Oh, man. They think you have every hookup in Las Vegas when you move out Vegas. Hey, get me in this club, get me in this restaurant. I'm like, hold on, I just moved here.
I just moved here. No. We've been waiting to visit Vegas, but your house is the new strip, right? You said earlier there are people who are afraid that they'll sit down with Bill and he'll judge them or he'll make them feel bad. I think what most people are afraid of is what my mom's afraid of. My mom's biggest fear my mom grew up in the hood. My mom ain't afraid of gangsters, guns, nothing like that. My mom don't give a shit at all, right? My mom will slap grown-ass men. She don't care. Yeah. What my mom is afraid of is going to the grocery store, swiping her card, and having someone tell her that she can't afford something. And the embarrassment from that would like break her to pieces, right? And that's what you're saying people are afraid of. They're afraid of that thing, right? But Bill, tell them. We don't tell people no. What do you tell them?
You got to get a game plan. You got to know where you stand today in order to get to where you want to be tomorrow. And so a lot of people do DIY. I got to get my credit fixed, or I got to get my income up. I got to save more money. I got to do this. I got to pay this off. I got to pay collections. But there's 3 things that people need. They need credit, income, and assets. And I'd say the most difficult one is income. Yeah. And if people have an income, like you got your income going, you can fix credit pretty easily. That can come around. You can save money from the standpoint of if you've got a lot of Polynesian family members and you just piece it all together, gifts and all that kind of stuff, and it all comes together, that's that. But the income piece is
and I think that's where the struggle is with Polynesian and me in particular. Like when you go into somebody and say, what's your income? Like me personally, I'm going to talk for all the Polynesians. I wasn't taught to save. So my thing was I was live every day like it's your fullest. So live check to check and spend it when you get it. So when you come to somebody, it's like, okay, what's your income? I know what I could make. But it's like, hey, what do you have saved? I don't have shit saved. So that's like the divide.
But if someone told you will need, because like for example, a $400,000 house, how much do you think you need to get into the house down payment wise?
10%, right? Is it 10%?
No, it's 3.5%. It's like $14,000.
Man, I'm saving 10% of this credit union right now.
It's $14,000.
Wow.
How much do you pay if you went to go buy or rent a property? You got to put first month's rent,
first and last.
You got security deposit. You're talking like at least half of the down payment. Wow. And then if you go like, okay, well, you need $7,000 more. Oh, I can do that. I just don't do this. I don't do that. I don't do this. I don't do that.
We like you to say,
you need a game plan.
Cisco, save $7,000 and we'll do, because we got the simplicity of everything that we're talking about is like, I can come and say, hey, I work a 9-to-5 job. I do this, but I can come in here and say, hey, as an independent business owner, This is what I do with my LLC. This is what do I have to save? So what I've done is kind of put a little aside to the credit union, put some money aside every time I do a show. I'll put some money aside, just kind of save for a down payment, whether we need 10%, whatever percentage is, and some, like you just said, 3%. At least I got that saved.
Yeah. So there's different ways to do it, and it's kind of when you're self-employed, right? It's a balance between do you pay taxes or do you not? Yeah. And there's programs that you know we don't even care about your income. You do have to have more money for a down payment. But I just told a guy yesterday, a good friend of mine, basically said, you know, pay less on taxes, save more money, you know, keep doing what you're doing. We'll get you a bank statement program, you know.
Well, we're like in a monkey see, monkey do society, because if I start seeing everybody trip off of the finance rate, we're like, oh, yeah, we'll wait for it to go down. And that's where I was like, okay, I didn't know what they were talking about, but because everybody else was saying, oh, wait for it to go down, I was like, okay, I'll wait for it to go down. Now I'm in year 5 of my apartment.
But here's the other thing too that I love about the marketplace right now, and Brandon will tell you, he's a master negotiator, by the way. Like if you just have the down payment, if you have like $14,000. Guess what? You're in the game. Yeah. You got to get in the game, right?
There's a woman on live right now who says she has $20,000.
You're in the game. You're already in the game. So
because, you're ready.
Because then Brandon goes in, finds a house, and says, seller, we can make a deal, but you have to pay for their closing costs. Yeah. Okay. And the seller could say, oh, go, jump in a lake. And Brandon says, okay, we'll go to the next seller, right?
I'll be watching that, B. I'm like, get him, B.
But I mean, he's gotten, upwards of $30,000 paid in closing costs with 2-1 buy downs, with all this stuff.
It's all a negotiation,
It's negotiation. Yeah. And that's not going to last forever. I think it's going to be I think we'll be in a period of, time, probably, 6, 9, maybe 12 months, but it's going to go away. It's going to go away.
So that was my next question. Like, I mean, obviously you guys are saying it's right now, but like, what is the timeline for people that's watching this right now to kind of say, hey, what's my time frame that I have by saying, hey, let me get the ball rolling? Am I going to miss the bus at some point? Because obviously that's what it sounds like, that we're going to miss it if we don't do it in the next 12 months.
The best part about real estate is there's almost no misses. It's so hard to get across to people because what they remember is like the real estate. People have a tendency to remember the worst parts of things, but they forget about the good things. I tell my wife this all the time. I'm like, baby, I asked you the last time I made you happy and you can't remember, right? But if I asked you the last time I pissed you off, well, June 6th at 12:37, right? You got a whole diary, right?
People selective memory.
Selective memory. Yeah. People have selective memory, right? So like, okay. So let's say you buy a house right now. It's a buyer's market. You have fewer options for houses right now because a lot of sellers don't want to sell, but you're getting a great deal. You're saving a bunch of money. Yeah. Especially so if you're someone who's like maybe struggling to make ends meet or don't have as much saved, this is a great time to buy. Okay, let's say you wait a little bit.
Wait, say that again, B. You got to say that again because I think that's the hook for everybody. If you don't have enough money, say that again.
Let's say you don't have enough money right now, right? Let's say all you have is enough money for the down payment, okay? We're in a buyer's market. Now think about, okay, you go to a nightclub. It's our favorite. It's our favorite
analogy. I love those nightclubs. It makes me think.
You go to a Vegas nightclub when it's ladies' night, right? You may not be a millionaire who's able to buy bottles and a table, but if there's 100 girls there and there's only 10 dudes, hey, look, we can negotiate with somebody, right? There's somebody here you can negotiate with, and that's how the real estate market is right now. Like, hey, look, this house over here, you might be able to afford her. She might be too expensive for you. But we got 99 other girls to talk to because it's a buyer's market.
And even if you end up with the ugly one, you still got a house.
You still got a house. You still got a house.
Exactly. Right? Exactly.
If you wait, maybe interest rates go down, prices go up. Okay, you're paying more for your house, but guess what? The second you get into that house, houses make equity. Yeah. So you're going to start making more money on your house. There's really, and people don't believe me, there's almost no bad time to buy a house. Tell them the record. Tell them real estate's record.
The record is this. Since the 1940s, real estate has won every decade since the 1940s. Wow. 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It's always gone up. Yeah. And there's been really about 7 or 8 years where the value has gone down in appreciation.
But shot right back up.
And the shot back up?
Yeah.
Check this out. The average rent, not the median, the average rent for an apartment in Oahu is $2,600.
And that's for a broom closet.
That's for a broom closet. If you're in Hawaii and you're listening to this right now, if you add $300 to that rent, you could have a house in Vegas. $3,000 is what our mortgages are looking like for houses.
And specify that not renting a house, owning a house.
Owning a house.
I think
And
that's where we get lost in translation, where they're saying, oh, you could just pay 20. Like, they need to know that you could pay for a house that could be yours instead of paying a house to rent. Because a lot of people are renting houses now too.
You know,
and that would be like around a $400,000 house.
A $400,000 house is literally what you can buy. A $400,000 house is 3 bedrooms, 2 baths.
Yeah.
You can get one. We got one in Henderson that I'm actually writing an offer for as soon as this ends. Right. The money, Cisco.
Yeah.
The money. This is, and we try to pretend like this isn't real, but it is real. Okay. You're paying $2,600 for rent in Oahu. At the end of the year, you have just paid what? $26,000 plus $5,200. You've paid $31,000. And it's going into the trash. Your landlord's pocket is essentially the trash, right? When you own that same home for $3,000, you make equity.
Yeah.
Okay. The average equity in Las Vegas from 2024 to 2025 was 6.6%. Let's just call it 6% to make it easy for people. That means 6% of a $400,000 house is $24,000. So you're not just paying rent and throwing in the trash. You're making money on the back end of that purchase.
Man.
This is how you see people buy a house, then 3 years later sell that house and buy a bigger house.
Yeah.
Then 3 years later sell
Upgrade.
that. Right?
Yeah.
That's how it goes. There's a reason so many people in Hawaii have so much money. Your grandparents bought this house for $150,000, $200,000, and now you're selling it for $2 million. Guess what? You just gave your family generational wealth because you made the decision to buy a house decades ago.
Man.
Right?
And it's mindset. Like you go from 1,700 to maybe 2,500, 2,700, whatever it is you decide is yours, right? You're going, God dang, that's like $1,000 more than what I'm paying now. How am I going to do that, right? But part of it is a lot of that money actually goes to pay down the mortgage. So you're paying off the mortgage, you're building more equity, you're renting it, you're building equity as he described in regards to getting more value.
And I think it's the way you guys are describing it. Yeah, it's the mindset, because the mindset of a renter is like they don't look at the numbers like that. The mindset of a renter, like I could tell you, because I am a renter, it's always been like, as long as I can afford rent, I should be good. That's the mindset I think is getting lost in translation, where that same mindset you have about that rent, if you put that towards a mortgage mindset, now you're building equity. And growing up, we never knew that knowledge. And I think now that we're getting more accessibility to it, we're starting to kind of see, damn, I should have bought this 20 years ago.
You being a master of sales and marketing is going to make this so easy. When you want to sell somebody something, you never tell them how much it costs.
No, you build the value.
You tell them about the value. When you want someone to not buy something, you tell them how much it costs. You don't tell them what it does.
Yeah.
Right? So they never educate, especially if you grew up in the hood like me, they never tell you that houses make money. They just tell you how much the thing costs, right? Same with starting a business. The guy from Comcast, when you told him you were going to start your own radio station, do this, all he's telling you is what? Oh, it costs this much money. It costs. He never tells you what it could possibly do if it works out, right? He never pitches the value, just the cost. And that's the renter mentality. The renter mentality is, it costs less to do this, so I'm going to do this. They never ask about what it could possibly make on the back end, right? Okay. One of the big things for you, and we can see it on your shirt.
Yeah.
If y'all can't see the Western Conference, okay?
Branding.
He wants to make sure that he's spreading Polynesian culture and identity, right? So I got 3 questions for you. Are you ready? What is currently, outside of your own, obviously you have your own events, which we're going to talk about at the end. What would you say are the best Polynesian festivals in Vegas?
In Vegas right now, hands down, is Holo Holo. And not because I'm biased to it, but because it has the big artists that are worth going to buy. I mean, there's talent around the board in Las Vegas, but there's talent that's like, I'd go pay for. I always look at it as a patron point of view. If I would pay the ticket for the festival price, that's what I'll go to. And Holo Holo that I've seen since I've been out here has been worth it. We have UB40, like big acts. So that'll be one of the festivals that I would go to.
Okay. Who would you say, outside of my boy Samoan Silk, shout out to the dog Isaiah.
Samoan Silk.
Who would you say are some of our biggest local Polynesian artists?
You know what? And I don't think he gets enough credit. Kaipo Kapua is one of the voices from Hawaii, but he lives in Las Vegas. But he's done places like Easy, but his voice is like no other. Shout out Samoan Silk, shout out everybody there. But Kaipo Kapua is an underrated artist that I think if he had the right break, he'd be a superstar.
Okay.
So look out for that. Kaipo, I see you, brother.
We're gonna make that a clip so we can run it on the page. Because I'm telling you right now, the second we post that clip, Polynesians will show up to give love. They like straight up
give love and give their rendition and chime in on it too.
I'm telling you right now, they can't wait to tell you that you're wrong. Bro.
Yeah, exactly.
There might be a little bit of that.
My cousin sings better than him. Because look at everybody at the Kava circles like, nah, there's a few people. Hey, don't get me wrong. All the Kava circles out here, you got some nice voices too. But
And now if you really want argument, if you really want people to tell you you're wrong,
here we go.
Here's the final question. What's the best Hawaiian food in Las Vegas?
And I'm not just saying this because they have a plate named after me, but Lefty J's is my favorite go-to because of the Big Body Cisco plate. Their garlic chicken, to me, look, everybody's already, fix your face.
Fix your face.
Fix your face. To me, Lefty J's is pretty good to me.
We are going to have so many
Oh, man, they're already going crazy. They're going crazy right now. Shout out Opalicious, shout out all these other places, but that place stuck out to me because, I mean, all these businesses from Hawaii are coming over here and want to be successful.
Yeah.
The thing about us is, and I'll tell you guys, Polynesian demographic, Hawaiian demographic, we're always in competitive nature with each other. What they got to stop doing is stop competing with each other and start saying there's enough for everybody.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because everybody eats at the end of the day. Whether it's eating at Lefty J's one day or eating another establishment, everyone's always going to eat all the time. Like sushi. You got Sin City Sushi is my favorite sushi spot out here. But because... Shout out Franny, shout out KT, but because it's a mom and pop spot, it has a little bit more meaning to me. Shout out Pancho, shout out Young, because they take care of their, their patrons. But Hawaiians, Samoans were always in competition with each other. And what they need to stop doing is stop competing and start accepting that there's enough in Las Vegas to go around for everybody. Whether you're a big business, we're here, whether you're a small business, there's enough for everybody to support each other. There's always, you're supporting them. I don't want to, you don't mess with you because you support them. Why? Why have that crabs in a bucket mentality when we could all
support each other?
Oh my God. It would be so flourishing for all these businesses if we would support each other, but it's a competition.
It's always, man,
stop competing with you. But you know what? A little blame goes to Brandon too, a little bit. Because his favorites will kind of be like, man, that's Brandon. So it goes back to all these food critics that are out there. Shout out everybody that does it because those are their tastes.
Yeah.
Those are their tastes. And Bree will tell you, and then these guys are like, oh, this is what I like. And every time I kind of do it, I do a Big Body Eats. I'm trying to do it like B, but it's what I like. And I say, if you're a skinny dude, you're probably not gonna like what a big dude likes. Yeah. And if you're a big dude, you're not gonna like what a skinny dude likes. That's why I can't stand skinny food critics. You can't tell me nothing. Your food, your food intake is a lot different than mine.
Straight up. That's why my audience is way different, right? Yeah. And that's why in the video you see me eating the food because it's like, nah, bro, I need a plate that's gonna feed me.
Yes.
Oh God.
I got a sleeper for you. Now you've probably been there, but I got a sleeper for you. This is to me the best unknown Polynesian restaurant in Vegas, Le'umu.
Oh man, that's the family right there. They were in the north. Shout out to the Le'umu family. They're over there where the old Big Jerk used to be.
Come on.
But I go eat there. I go get their half moon pies. I go eat their like Samoan food. Like what I don't get is there needs to be more Samoan food spots. Like people don't know like there's Hawaiian food, there's Samoan food, there's Tongan food. There's all like there's Chamorro food. Shout out Red Rice. But there's all different types of food. Everyone's putting it in a bucket and saying that's just Polynesian food.
Yeah.
But if you know what you're eating, that's good. Like Le'umu's good Samoan food. They have another place called Two Guns is another Samoan food spot too. So those are the only two Samoan food spots in Las Vegas that we know of. So it's minimal what they can do. So like of course they're going to be good. They're the only ones out here.
Yeah.
But bring more. I mean, if they're going to bring more. But if you have other Hawaiian spots, like there's too many Hawaiian spots. Let's kind of ease up on that one a little for a spot. But if you're going to come out here, put your own take on it and kind of say, this is what we're promoting. Not saying, we're better than those guys.
Yeah.
We're saying, look, this is what we know we're good for. So come and try this. And maybe you want to try everything else.
If you're going to open a Hawaiian spot,
tell them, B.
If you're going to open a Hawaiian spot, there are two things that you must do. And I'm telling you, you're going to make $1 billion in Las Vegas. Because one, no offense to anybody, but Zippy's out here, I don't like it.
Trash.
I don't like it. Sorry. I don't know what they did out here.
Because people don't know, Zippy's was only good in Hawaii when you were drunk or high. So that's why when you come over here, it doesn't have that good of an establishment to eat sober.
It's Hawaiian Roberto's. Bro.
Yes.
It's Hawaiian Roberto's. If you're going to open a Hawaiian restaurant, I need you to do two things. The chili over rice, okay? Stop giving me this bullshit. I want chili over rice.
Yes.
And I need at least one Hawaiian restaurant to do the mac pancakes with the mac sauce and the creamy sauce with all that shit. How does not one place out here have that?
In Hawaii, there's a place called Yogurt Story, and that's where they have those macadamia nut pancakes, the ube pancakes. But somebody come and do something like that, and they're probably watching this right now saying, hey, we're here. You just don't know about us.
Listen, if you are an investor, if you're a Hawaiian with some money, I will do whatever it takes to get a Boots and Chemo's.
Oh, man.
Boots and Chemo's out to Vegas.
Yeah, now that macadamia.
Bro.
Swedish Joy next. Let me stop.
Bro, we took one. They don't know in Hawaii, they don't know about the food influencer thing isn't as big, right?
Yeah.
When I went to Boots and Chemo's, because I probably had 27 Hawaiians. Like, no, bro, you got to go to Boots Keep.
Yeah.
You got to go to Boots Keep. Right up. I ordered so much food that them ladies, she was like, one of them was like, are you okay?
Yeah. And then they go for here. Wait, for you?
Yeah. There was 4 people at the table. We had 9 dishes on the table. I'm trying to film it and shit like that. And she's just like, what's that you doing? And I showed her my page. She's like, oh, I got a few more dishes.
Yeah. And they start bringing out other stuff.
He was a celebrity when he went there.
Yeah.
We got so many calls when you went out to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Saying, I want to move to the 9th Island here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, straight up.
Man.
No.
You were a celebrity.
Big ups to Hawaii. The TSA, when we flew into the airport, the TSA was like, oh, Brandon from Vegas. I said, if the TSA girls know me, bro, we out here. We out here. So shout out, man.
Absolutely.
And that's a big reason when Austin, I forget your name once again. You just look forgettable. I'm sorry.
Man, he's got to slam me once a day.
When Austin told me that you were available for this, I said, this is perfect. I've been wanting to do a 9th Island episode for so long, and I wanted somebody on here who could accurately represent what it is about. Like, you have an energy, right?
Yeah.
Even though you're from San Francisco, your family, is it something that's just like passed down? Is it something that just, I don't know what it is, but you guys, it's what makes Vegas so special. When 4th of July comes up and you see 10 trillion fireworks, please understand.
Better than the shows on the Strip, I'll tell you that.
Dog, I don't need the Strip. Give me 11 Hawaiian dads and about...
Give me that Kalihi fireworks show. Give me that Waipahu one. All the illegal ones are going to be going up.
If you... I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for this, but if you want to know where all the Polynesians live in Vegas, just wait till the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah. But, there goes that family. Let's go over there. They got a barbecue, too. Because you can go to any of those spots and be like, cousin. They're like, hey, make a plate. So any of those establishments that you see fireworks, go over there and just say, hey, can I make a plate? Yeah. They're always willing to give food.
Brother, we're being funny, but he's dead ass serious,
dead on. Dead serious.
Bro. If you show up and you're just like, hey, I saw the fireworks, I grab a plate, I'm telling you 100%, they're going to let you in and feed you.
And there's a hack. It's disrespectful to say no.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't know that when, no, I'm okay. When you do that, like grandmas, aunties, they take that as a sign of disrespect.
Yeah, 100%.
So you saying my food is shitty? No, I'm just not hungry right now. Even if you're not hungry, take the plate.
Take the plate.
I'll take 3 of them. Thank you.
Throw some foil on that thing and you'll be all right.
Cisco, let us know what you got coming up, man. We want our audience to be able to support what you're doing.
Oh, man. I'm opening a barbershop here in Las Vegas. It's called The Shack. It'll be out here in South Las Vegas by South Point. I'm working on that with a barbershop in the front, podcast content studio in the back. Okay. So you'll see Austin's face over there as well. But I'm trying to give a home for a lot of creatives to come out here and to do some work. But it's festival season. So I just did a 3-day festival in Monterey this past weekend with T-Pain, J Boog, Common Kings. But now we have a Holo Holo San Diego, Holo Holo Hawaii. We have a bunch of Holo Holos going on the rest of the year. And I got my own show in Reno, Saturday, July 5th. That we're doing. Every city we're doing, then we're going to go to New Zealand and Australia. So it's going to be a busy year.
Oh, cool.
That's
you got to get to New
crazy.
Zealand, Brandon. Because people don't know. If we take Brandon and go Brandon from Vegas and do food in New Zealand, oh, man. They got these meat pies. Well, that's neither here nor there.
New Zealand?
Yeah, New Zealand is a place where you can eat at.
His wheels are turning right now.
I can already tell you. You might have to take a trip to New
He's
Zealand.
thinking right now, I
Because
gotta
New
go
Zealand and
there.
Australia have good food. But anything with me, got to go BigBodyCisco.com where you can find everything.
BigBodyCisco.com. Make sure, shout out to Western Conference.
Man.
When's the next Holo Holo Festival here?
Next year. It'll be next year around the same time, around I think it's May, around May.
Around May.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys look out for that, man. We have
April.
tons.
April. It's in April. To get back April. Yeah.
We have tons.
You got to
of
come though.
Polynesian-
You and Bill got to come. You guys have to come and try all the food we have over there.
I'm coming.
Because there's going to be New Zealand meat pies there. Shout out Bula Pies. There's going to be a lot of food that you guys already like. That's already going to be there, and then you can enjoy feel good music throughout the day.
Bro, if you got garlic chicken and loco moco,
That's all you need.
I'll show up anywhere on
Man.
earth.
But shout out Generations Kitchen. They got a nice garlic chicken as well.
That. You do know all the spots. You do know all the spots.
Oh, we be eating.
Because you gotta know about there's no sign.
It's in the industrial area.
It's in the industrial area. You gotta know.
So you're like, I'm going to get flooring. Oh, let's get a Hawaiian plate. So
I feel like there's a secret Hawaiian TikTok where they all post because like they all know about every single spot, bro. Like, there's a secret.
they're at these festivals. So they're vendors at these festivals. And when they're there, you're like, I didn't know you were here. Oh, yeah, I've been here for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So as long as you know that, it's all about promoting our people, promoting their businesses, and trying to just have all their businesses flourish at the end of the day.
That's awesome.
And if we haven't made it clear enough, okay, if you're a Polynesian who lives in Las Vegas and you've been not doing something because you don't think you'll have the support, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're wrong. I don't care if it's food, music, creative content. You have an audience here that's looking to support the shit out of you. So just get started. And if you're looking to buy your first home, Bill, how do they reach you?
Simple. BillGaylord.com.
That's it?
That's it.
No number?
Call me.
See how simple that was? BigBodyCisco.com, BillGaylord.com.
Get a game plan
Marketing.
together. It's not that hard. Don't be fearful. If it's now, if it's a year from now, if it's 2 years from now, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just want to get you in a home. I want to get you moving.
Call me.
Yeah.
Text me. DM me. Email me. Reach out on live. Google. Realtor.com. I don't care how you reach me. As Cisco testified, I will help you literally no matter what. I don't care. I don't care if you're not ready now. I don't care if you need a year. I don't care if you need 2 years. We just had a woman that I sent a bill a year ago who's ready today. Okay, I don't care how long it takes. We will help you. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed, and don't die a renter.
Man,
right?
That's huge.
Big.
Mr. Cisco, thank you, sir.
Fellas,
I appreciate this.
We're going to buy a house because we're going to have an update.
Let's do it.
And we're going to be in my backyard doing the same podcast. Hey, remember when we talked about you getting this? And that's going to be my first home that I'd ever be purchased.
We're going to film the
Can
whole
you do
process.
anything with my hair at your new shop?
We can put a hat on it. We'll put a hat on there.
He going to sit down and be like,
There you go. All right. Put a nice
It looks
little dirty
better
hat.
now. It looks better now.
Man, hey, if you're watching on TikTok Live, stick around. We're going to answer whatever questions you guys have. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment below. If you're from Hawaii and you're watching this and you live in Vegas, leave us a comment below, man. Let us know you're here.
Cali too, man. Cali and Hawaii.
Cali,
get your butts
too.
out here.
Especially the Bay Area, man.
Yeah,
I love y'all.
come
Y'all
on.
come out here and buy big ass homes for me. I appreciate that very much, man. But leave your comments below. We love to hear back from you guys. We got tons of clips that are going to come out from this episode. And as always, come and be my neighbor. Peace, because Austin hates this. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace.